So today's video is going to be my October favorites. Again, cannot believe that October is over and we're still in fall. It is not the holiday season. Stop calling it the holiday season. Yes, it's the holiday season because Thanksgiving is coming and then the holiday season starts. But stop with the Christmas stuff already. Like, I cannot believe how fast they started playing the Christmas songs in the mall. I'm like, it's November. Like, relax. Like, we can't even celebrate each holiday anymore without like thinking about Christmas every single time. So it's just annoying. Like, Halloween just ended. Can we chill? But it's not going to stop. Like, I really don't want to be hearing Christmas songs for the next 2 months, but it already started playing in my store as well. So it's just, that might be the reason why I finally leave, because I need to just get out of there finally, but that's neither here nor there. So we have a couple of favorites to share with you guys. I'm not going to go too crazy in this video because honestly, there's not really that many products. But it's going to be mostly what I tried in October that was new that I think you guys would really love. And I also was consistently using in the month of October. So in October, I really tried to not get too many eyeshadow palettes or add any new eyeshadow palettes to my collection. I didn't add any new ones to my collection until a couple of days ago, and I actually am wearing one of those new palettes on my eyes today. I'm wearing the ColourPop Not a Box of Chocolates palette. I've been loving this palette, but I didn't try that until November. I'm just letting you know what I'm wearing. So anyway, I have a few eyeshadow palettes to talk about. The one I really want to start with is honestly probably my favorite ColourPop palette that has launched in a really long time, and that is the Back to Hogwarts palette. I have been absolutely obsessed with this palette. I think that this palette is gorgeous. Every time I use it, I just want to use it again. I cannot wait to use this when I do use it. And I reached for this at least 5 or 6 times this past month. I just really wanted to jump into it again and use some of my favorite shades that I had used the first time. And honestly, this palette is amazing. I think that this is one of their best palettes that they have ever done. I don't know what just happened down here. Like, I don't know why this is like annoying me already. So anyway, I think that the quality is amazing. I think that this is one of their best palettes that they've ever done quality-wise. I think every single shade in here is beautiful. The shimmers perform so well and the mattes blend so easily. So again, it's unfortunate what this is connected to, but overall, if you guys were interested in getting this palette and wanted to just add this to your collection because you love Harry Potter, I would highly recommend this palette because the quality of this is truly beautiful and kind of magical, and the shimmers are beautiful. So yeah, I've been loving this palette. And sorry, I just got a text. But anyway, these are just beautiful. And honestly, the shimmers don't look like that crazy unique or whatever when you swatch them. But when you put them on your eyes, and I think I've said this like multiple times about this palette, they are gorgeous. They just have like ColourPop has really upped their shimmer formula this year. And they're just so like wet and metallic on the lids, but also these are just so sparkly and pigmented. And also these are like probably one of the least transfer prone shimmer formulas in this palette that I've ever tried from ColourPop. These shimmers don't really transfer pretty much at all. Also, the palette I'm wearing today, the shimmers don't really transfer that much, but there's just something about this formula in this palette that I just can't stop wanting to use. I mean, I haven't used it in a little while because I obviously have other palettes to use and try, but this palette is wonderful. And my favorite shade in the palette is the shade Patronus, and that is just one of the most unique blue shimmers I've ever tried. It's like this amazing, like, sparkly royal blue shade. it's really not going to swatch that great, but on the eyes, it is so phenomenally gorgeous. I'm just going to try and build it up a little bit more. Yeah, that is so stunning, you guys. Like, you just have to really get the palette to see what I'm talking about, and then I'll swatch another shade. I'm not going to sit here and swatch these forever. I just want to show you guys what they look like. That one is Hungarian Horntail. It's like this gorgeous green. And then let's swatch the golds, because I think I swatched these in my last favorites video. I'm pretty sure I swatched Patronus. So let's swatch one of the lighter colors. And the gold is so gorgeous. Y'all know I'm a sucker for my golds. I love gold metallics. They're just like my favorites to use. Sorry, my nose is already running. Like, this weather has been kind of crazy in New York. It's kind of been like super warm. So I just don't know what to wear anymore, but I know it's going to get cooler later. So I just wore like this long sleeve shirt, and my boyfriend always has the AC blasting anyway. So yeah. And then I'm just going to swatch a couple of the mattes. Let's do some mattes I haven't really swatched before. This one is Gryffindor, and this one is Sorting Hat. This is the red Gryffindor, and this one is Sorting Hat. And this is like this really beautiful red, and this one's like a gray shade. So really beautiful, amazing quality. Don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just wonderful, and every shade I've used in this palette, they are beautiful, and I haven't really experienced one dud in here. They all perform beautifully, and they all perform exactly the way I want them to, and I honestly don't really have to think about if like a shade is going to work in here, because the quality is so consistent throughout the whole palette. And I know that people have had like complaints about that before from ColourPop, and I'm just telling you guys, I think that this is like one of their best quality wise. It's beautiful. I love it a lot. So that one is the first palette. Okay, and then the next palette that I wanted to mention from ColourPop is the Hocus Pocus 2 palette, and this one is the All Hallows Eve palette. I knew it had a certain name. This is their last palette with the Hocus Pocus collab and franchise. There's just been a lot of Hocus Pocus collabs with ColourPop, and honestly, like, I'm kind of glad it's over, but also I thought that this was one of the most like beautifully packaged and most creative packaged collections that they've ever done. They really killed it with the packaging with the palette. I think it's so beautiful. I love like this reflective, like almost blacklight kind of looking outside, and then on the inside you have the three sisters with the like really, it just really pops, and it's really, really pretty. So I really did enjoy this palette, and obviously I had to mention a Halloween palette for October, and this was definitely the palette that I was using the most. I got quite a bit of use out of it in October because of course I had to, because it was Halloween month. So I tried to use the majority of the shimmers again. The only two I didn't get to use again was the purple and this shade, which is Candle is a Light. And I actually am really impressed with the matte quality in this. The shimmers are really beautiful, but the mattes in here are very rich and deep. I love that they put this last row down here of all deepening mattes. It really adds a lot of depth and dimension to your looks, but they're also very pigmented, very easy to blend out, very user-friendly, and they just really pack a punch, but they are like very pigmented and really easy to use. So I really love that they added this bottom row. I think that they really just I'm glad that they didn't put a bunch of light shades on the bottom. I feel like they've been kind of listening more to their customers, where like people want like deeper shades, and also like we need deeper shades to work for a multitude of skin tones, not just for fairer skin tones. So I feel like this is more inclusive than palettes that they've released in the past, but also this like really packs a punch, and they're beautiful shades. So these are just really pigmented, and I'm really pleased with these shades in here. And I really just was very impressed with the mattes. They're not really going to swatch the greatest, but on the eyes, they're really, really nice. So that one is Observe, and this one is Night of Sins. But there's some really pretty shimmers in here. My two favorites are 17th Century and Brew Another Batch. 17th Century is just this gorgeous, like silvery, almost purple. It's so gorgeous, and it's so metallic on the lids. And the Brew Another Batch shade is just such a pretty greenish metallic. Oh, it's so pretty. Like, so pretty. So those are the shimmers. There's 17th Century, and that one is Brew Another Batch. So very pretty metallics in here. The only thing that I would say about this palette is I kind of feel like I almost have to reach into another palette to get a cohesive look. With the Harry Potter palette, I don't have to reach into anything else. I have pretty much everything I need in front of me. Usually the only thing I have to do is put on a brow bone highlight, which is what I'm used to. Like, that doesn't bother me about a palette. But I find with the Harry Potter palette, I have everything that I need in front of me. Yes, that is a 30 pan palette as opposed to a 15 pan palette. But there are other ColourPop palettes that I feel like I have everything that I need. Like, I feel like the first Hocus Pocus palette, which is the Gather Round Sisters palette, is still my favorite color story wise out of the 3 Hocus Pocus palettes. I didn't even get the second one because I did not like that, and I just thought that was one of the worst color stories they ever did, but I feel like they made up for it with this collection. I think they killed it with this. I think it's beautiful. And also, the only other thing that I would say, though, is that there is one dud shade in here, and that is the Purple Shimmer, which is Wicked Ways. And I was so excited to use this color because it's like such a pretty, like, purpley duochrome, but it does not stick to the lid whatsoever, and it looks all patchy on the lid, and it swatches like basically nothing. And this one like kind of has more of like a different shimmer formula than the other shimmers. Are like, the other shimmers are super metallic and beautiful and perform beautifully on the eyes. Like, honestly, all the other shimmers in here are gorgeous. Like, it's only this one that just has like barely any pigmentation to it, but it also feels like a completely different formula. It should have just been the same formula as like these high shine metallics. I don't know why they changed this one, but also purples are harder to formulate, but the purple matte is amazing, so I don't know why that shade isn't that great. I had to save the look and put this one all over the lid, and that was the first time that I used this one, and it looked gorgeous. And I wore it with like the purple mattes, and it looked so pretty. But this shade, unfortunately, was the only dud shade. And then the new formula, Candle is a Light, this shade is gorgeous as well. So, I don't know. And the orange shimmer is beautiful, and so is the dark chocolatey shimmer, which is 29 years. But unfortunately, and the orange matte is gorgeous as well. But just that shade was the only shade that didn't work out for me. But overall, the palette is really pretty. So, obviously, I don't have any regrets having it. I just wanted to inform you guys about that shade. If you guys were excited about that one, that's really the only shade that I would say is not very good. So, it's kind of a shame, though, because out of all the other palettes I've tried from ColourPop this year, I didn't really have that problem. And the palettes that were either really bad, I would just sell. So, it's all right. Okay, then 2 other palettes, not from ColourPop, but from 2 different brands. This one I mentioned last month, but I wanted to mention it again because I did use it a few times again this month, and that is the Sigma New Mod palette. Y'all know my love for Sigma. Through this past year, I've just completely fallen head over heels for the brand, and this palette is no exception. It is absolutely stunning, and again, this has become one of my staple neutral palettes for the fall season. It's just so beautiful with these berry tones, but the shimmers in here are insanely gorgeous. I cannot believe how good Sigma's shimmers are, but their matte formula is so pigmented and easy to work with and blends beautifully. So I don't really have anything else to say about this palette. I just wanted to mention it because it's gorgeous. And I will swatch a couple of the shades, but I did find myself using this quite a bit last month. And I just want to swatch a couple of the metallics. They're just like this gorgeous, sparkly, wet formula. And I absolutely think that they're just stunning. So that one is Avant-Garde. This one is Glam. And this one is Haute. And this one is Glam. Really, really pretty. And then the mattes are also like super pigmented as well. Just wanted to like swatch a couple of them. I'm just going to swatch them on my fingers because I'm kind of running out of room on my, you know what? Let's just swatch them right here. Really, really pretty, super pigmented. And again, they blend out absolutely beautifully. So I just wanted to mention this palette again because it's absolutely gorgeous. And that is that one. Hold on one second. Okay, and then the last palette is the Nomad Hudson Valley palette. Now, I have my thoughts about this palette, but overall, the formula is absolutely stunning. And it just, the only thing about this palette is that, unfortunately, like, I wish that there was more shimmers in here. It would kind of entice me to use the palette a little bit more. But the reason why I got this palette is because it's an absolutely stunning fall color story. And the formula in here is just as good as the other two Nomad palettes that I ended up being sucked into in this year. Nomad really got me with their color stories this year. But also the reason why I picked up this palette is because of the New York embossed shimmers in the middle of the palette, because obviously I'm a New Yorker. My home state is New York. I've lived here my whole life. So I was like, I need a palette that represents my home state. So, and I just thought that this palette was gorgeous. I felt like I was going to use it quite a bit. I mean, I've only used it 4 times. And again, I just wish that there was like one more shimmer in here. I actually have not touched these 2 gray mattes. I knew I was going to use, I probably could have downsized this palette to just be 12 because I've only used these 12 shades, but I've actually used this one. I've used 13 of the shades. I haven't used these 2 shades though, because I just don't really find an occasion where I'm going to use them to go with these shimmers because they don't really go with them that well. Like, honestly, if this shade was like replaced with like a sparkly gray metallic or like a silver metallic, I would have been all over this palette and used it way more. But at the same time, the shimmers are gorgeous, but I just wish that there was one more shimmer in here or like a row of shimmers. But the color story is absolutely stunning. The mattes perform so well. I actually prefer the matte formula in this over the Feats de Provence palette, but I prefer the color story of the Feats de Provence palette. But also, I still think the Whistler Snow Lodge palette is the best palette that I tried from Nomad this year, but the Feats de Provence palette doesn't have as much depth and dimension as this palette does because this has more mattes in it. And I find with the Feats de Provence palette, I have to reach into like something else in order to get something deeper. With this, I don't have to do that. So there is pros and cons about this. Overall, it's beautiful, but I just wish there would have been like one more shimmer. So I'm just going to swatch a couple of the shades. And this one is Apple Picking. This one is Foliage Trail. And this one is Fall Festival. So I'm just going to swatch these over here just to show you guys what they look like. This one is Apple Picking. This one is Foliage Trail. And this one is Fall Festival. Really pigmented, very easy to work with. I love my look every time I use these. I just wanted to mention that I kind of wish that there was one more shimmer, but it's a beautiful fall palette, and if you were eyeing it, I highly recommend it. But the reason why I've been using this shade is because it's really beautiful on my brow bone. I didn't think I was going to love that for that. I thought it was going to be like super gray tone, but it actually works really well as a brow bone highlight. So I've used it every single time I've used this palette, and it actually like blends into my skin really well. Like, it's not really that gray tone. So I was actually really like surprised and impressed about that. So that is it for eyeshadow palettes. Now let's just get into a couple of cheek products. I do have one mascara to mention first, though, and that is the ColourPop BFF Hocus Pocus 2 Purple Mascara. I did pick up the mascara with this collection as well. And I actually really, really like this because it's not really that purple on your lashes, but it looked so good when I used the Hocus Pocus palette. It was just the perfect mascara to go with the looks. And I really love that they made this like a purple mascara. And purple mascara is actually a really wearable color. So like nobody really noticed that I was wearing it, but it just looks so pretty with the looks that I did with the palette. So I really did enjoy this, and I love the BFF mascara. I usually love the ColourPop mascaras, and I actually haven't owned the BFF mascara in quite a while because ever since I tried the Act Natural and the lengthening mascara, I always repurchase those. I'm wearing the Act Natural mascara today, and I love it. But it was nice to have this back in my collection again, and obviously, I had the black one in the past, but this one is really, really nice. So, really liked that. And now let's just move on right to blushes. I just have a couple to talk about. And mostly, I wanted to mention some blush palettes because, honestly, I've been reaching into quite a few of my blush palettes again. So, the first one is the Jouer Rose Cut Gems palette. I mention this palette all the time, but I really did utilize this and use this quite a bit this month. Nobody talks about this. And also people gave this such crap reviews, which I don't really understand why. This has become one of my favorite blush palettes. I've used this for years. I think I got this back in like 2019. And these blushes are stunning. I used quite a few of these this month. I used the shade Garnet a lot because this is like a very deep red blush. It's a very unique color. I don't have any like blushes quite like this in my collection, and it's more of like a darker red, and that's why I love it so much. I also used Crystalline and Peach Quartz quite a bit, and then Tease Me is such a gorgeous like super pink, baby pink blush. So those are mostly the shades I use. These two I use more in the summertime because they're like really bright pink shades. But this is a gorgeous blush palette. And honestly, as soon as I whip out blush palettes, I kind of get lazy about using my single blushes because with blush palettes, you have them all right in front of you. And I find with this palette, it just has like every shade that I would need, that I don't really have to reach for other blushes. Not that I'm not doing that, because I'm like reaching back into my individual blushes again right now. I kind of put this away for a little bit, but it's beautiful. I love it. So I just wanted to mention that. And then of course I had to mention the Jaclyn Hill Rouge Romance blush palette again. I didn't mention this last month, but I did reach into this quite a bit in September as well, but I just forgot to mention it in my October favorites. But in my September favorites, but I also used it quite a bit this past month in October. I just love this palette. I used it for this shade Ever After, and I think I used one of the lighter shades again. But I just wanted to mention that this palette is beautiful. If you guys were thinking about anything from Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, not that she's kind of been in some hot water recently, but again, I've mentioned this so many times. Somehow she smashed it with this release, and this blush palette has probably become my favorite blush palette of all time. It's just the lastability and the pigmentation of these blushes are insane, and they just look so beautiful on the cheeks, and they last so long. And I just think that the tones in here are so unique. I just dug my finger into one of them. But it's just a beautiful blush palette. I love it so much. So I really love this one. And then the last blush palette that I wanted to mention is this one. Hold on one second. I'm trying to put this one down is the Sleeping Beauty Besame, the 1959. This is the Besame Cosmetics Sleeping Beauty Briar Rose Blush Palette. Now, I've never purchased anything else from Besame besides this, but I actually reached into this a couple of times this month because these have some beautiful soft pinky tones in here of the blush shades. I love this baby pink, and I really love this darker deep pink. And then they have these two, like this one I kind of use more of as a blush, and it's a gorgeous like nudie blush. And then there's this like stunning highlighter in here. But this like formula is just so beautiful and so smooth on the face. But I just wanted to mention that I did use this a couple of times this month, and it's just so beautiful. There is nothing that, you know, Besame has really released besides this that I've been interested in, because y'all know I love Sleeping Beauty, and this packaging is insanely gorgeous. But I just wanted to mention how much I really love this palette still, and I hadn't used it in a little while, and then I whipped it back out, and now it's like I can't stop using it. It's just so good. But so that's that. And then let's just mention a couple of individual highlighters. Sorry. So this highlighter, I'm actually really surprised that I used this one so much, but I had a feeling I was going to use it a lot in the month of October, but also like this is a very unique color to my collection, and that is the Hocus Pocus 2 Soul Body Find the Book highlighter. And the reason why I used this so much is that this is probably one of my favorite Soul Body highlighters that I've ever used, because this one is just so easy to use on the cheeks, because this one applies really well with a brush. And I think the reason why it does is because it kind of has a more powder formula than the other Soul Body highlighters do. Like they're kind of similar to like the Super Shock highlighters, and they feel a little bit more wet and creamy. This one feels a little bit drier, but not in a bad way. It kind of like makes it stick to the skin a lot easier, and that's why it's just very easy to apply with a brush, but it's also stunning. Like this is such a gorgeous highlighting shade. It's very unique because it's kind of like a limey yellowish gold. It's so gorgeous, and it's also like super sparkly. Who is that? Oh. And this is really beautiful. So, and I was reaching for this a ton this month. I think I used it like at least 5 or 6 times. So this was definitely my most used highlighter this month. And it was just so pretty. And I used it quite a bit with the Hocus Pocus palette, and it was perfect to go with that. So this is beautiful, and I'm really glad that I bought this. This is probably my favorite thing that came out in the collection. And I'm glad that they finally did a cheek product for the Hocus Pocus collabs. I'm like, why haven't they come out with any cheek products? So I knew I wanted to get this, because I'm like, where are the cheek products? And then the last highlighter I wanted to mention was the Casa Gaga Italian Glam Collection highlighter from Haus Labs. And this is the Tutti Gel Powder Highlighter in the shade Luce del Sol. I think I just read that all backwards, but I think you know what I mean. This is a stunning highlighter. This is like the newest highlighter to my collection besides the Soul Body one. But I think I like this highlighter more than the new highlighters that she released with her new line. This one is a stunning like gel-like highlighter. It's a very unique formula. I don't think I have anything else like this in my collection. And it's just so gorgeous and metallic on the cheeks. And it just has this super smooth formula that just glides on your cheeks. I'm wearing a different Soul Body highlighter today from ColourPop, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm wearing the Dragonfly one. So pretty. But this one I reached for a couple times this past month, and it's just so like elegant and beautiful on the skin, because it has this like amazingly like gorgeous gel-like formula, and I love this one. It's beautiful. I think this one is more worth the money than the new highlighters that she came out with, and this is pretty much the same price. It's like $38, but I think this one is worth it. It's gorgeous on the skin. And then the last cheek product is from the same collection, the Casa Gaga collection. And this is the 2D Gel Powder All Over Rouge Blush in the shade Spritz. This is also gorgeous. I think I only reached into this maybe once this past month, but it's just so stunning. And it has like that beautiful like gel-like formula. Where am I even gonna swatch that? Let's just swatch it down there. And it's just beautiful on the skin. Again, it just glides on the skin. It's like not too pigmented, but it just has this amazingly like light gel-like formula that makes your cheek look beautiful. So I absolutely love this as well. Okay, now let's just mention like a couple of lip products and that's it. So I'm just going to breeze through these. I just wanted to mention the Harry Potter lippies again. This one is Ron Weasley and the other one is Hermione Granger. I used these a couple of times again this past month and I really like these because they're like very lightweight on the lips and they're very smooth and mousse-like, and I really like both of these. So that one is Ron Weasley and that one is Hermione Granger. I kind of want to wear Hermione Granger a little bit more, so I'm going to leave that on my desk. But it's beautiful. It's a really nice lip shade, and so is Ron Weasley. It's like this really soft, like orangey terracotta shade, and then Hermione Granger is like this light pink. It's so pretty. I don't know why people dogged those lip shades. They're actually gorgeous on the lips. And then I just wanted to mention the Sigma liquid lipsticks again. I mean, I didn't really wear these too much this past month. I just wanted to say that I really did enjoy these. And I kind of want to use them a bit more this month. So I have the shades New Mod. I can never read these because they're so microscopically small. Awaken and Fable. So this came as like a little freebie set, and it was really nice that I was able to try these with my order. They're really, really nice. I'll just swatch one of them. Let's swatch Fable. It's such a pretty like pinky color. And then the last lip product is the Hocus Pocus 2 Sisters Behold So Glassy lip gloss. Y'all know I love the So Glassy lip formula, but this was my most used lip gloss this month. I mean, y'all know I don't really use lip glosses too much in the fall and winter time because I mostly use glosses in the summertime. But this was a really pretty gloss, again, to pair with the Hocus Pocus palette. And it's just a really pretty, like, metallic, shimmery gloss. But again, the So Glassy lip gloss formula is my all-time favorite lip gloss formula from ColourPop. It's just so comfortable on the lips and makes your lips so juicy and glass-like. That's why they're called the So Glassy glosses, because they really make your lips look like you're wearing like a lip gloss from MAC. It's kind of like a dupe for the lip glasses from MAC. This is not my favorite So Glassy gloss, though, because I feel like the other two that I have are more metallic than this, and this one smells a little bit weird. I don't know why, but I have used it 3 or 4 times. This was definitely my most used gloss this month, so that's why I wanted to mention it, but it makes your lips look so juicy, and it has like this slight metallic glitteriness to it, and it's just so pretty. It's like this iridescent, like white shimmery gloss, and it's so pretty. It doesn't look like this intense on your lips with glitter. It's really pretty. And yeah, that's it, you guys. Oh, just wanted to mention my Loungefly bag. This has definitely been a favorite of mine. I've used it every single day since I got it at Comic-Con, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's like this tote bag that has like this curved it kind of reminds me of like a Louis Vuitton shape. So it has Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip on the front, and then on the back it has the castle with the 3 fairies and her as Briar Rose, and I love it. And here are the 3 fairies and Sleeping Beauty's castle. I love it so much. It's so gorgeous. I've had quite a few compliments on this bag, and everybody and most people who compliment me ask me where I got it, And I'm like, it's Loungefly. They make amazing bags. So yeah, I'm so happy with that bag. I'm so happy that I bought it. I love it so much. Oh yeah, and I got the matching wallet as well. Let me show you guys. I'm obsessed with the wallet too. Look at how cute this is. Look at the front. It's the same as the bag, but it's, again, such nice quality. So this is the front with Sleeping Beauty and Prince Philip, and then the back with the castle, and then Briar Rose on the bottom with the 3 fairies. I'm obsessed, like obsessed with it. And then the interior has the happily ever after, and then on the inside it has like the imprint of the fairies. So cute, right? So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have to go. I'm getting hungry, and I have to go pick up food for me and my boyfriend. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what your favorites were this month, and let me know if you tried any of these products. And please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. I need to stop talking. I'm like out of breath. So bye.